Hello everyone, welcome back to another replay video. So this video is going to feature a matchup against Geo, which his box is running, the standard structure of Hilda, Autocrator, Rosen, and Sissy White. But the overall feel of this box is that he's focusing a lot more on the AOE side of things. So he has 3 assassins in Pepsi, Cherry, and Die Hard, so there's no Werner here. And then he has a bit of mobility support from TGS and IBC, and the rest of them are either pure AoE or flex units. So like, the normal Wetham, Lucretia. Ares is a bit uncommon. I think most people favor Helena in this slot as a long range AoE slash single target attacker. So Ares is a bit uncommon, I realize. Not a lot of people are still keeping Ares in their box. And then there's the good old Leonhardt, which I haven't seen in like 2 seasons now. But my box, there's no need for further introduction, so let's get right into draft. So as you can see, AoE box, first ban Rosen, nothing out of the ordinary. I'm banning the Wetham first, and I first pick my Wetham. So against these kind of AoE boxes, I tend to emphasize the Wetham ban a bit more than the Lucretia ban because, at least with Lucretia, she doesn't, get into your face on turn 1. She still needs to wait for 1 turn. And then you can kind of figure out how to deal with it later. Whereas Wetham puts a lot of immediate pressure on your team. So I've been kind of experimenting, switching the bans between Wetham and Lucretia. And I'm still trying to get a feel for it. So here he bans TJS and Alicia. So in a moment I was like, what the fuck? Who the fuck bans Alicia second? So, but I'm looking at this replay and I've had a bit of time to think about it. So basically this ban is actually the 2 units in particular that synergizes well with Wetham's initiation, because Wetham is going to leave a sword in the middle of the battlefield, and TJS can teleport onto the sword, and Alicia can use the sword as a, like a stepping stone. So although they're not like super good units, compared to things like Lucretia or like something with more threat range like Elwyn, Die Hard, Ares. So these 2 units in particular have a bit of a synergy with Wetham as an initiator. So I guess that's why he banned it. Maybe he got messed up by someone that picked Alicia after Wetham and he just zoomed across the map. But yeah, anyways, first pick Autocrator comes out, so it's like a sub tank as a response to Wetham, which is alright. I banned Hilda and Lucretia. I don't want to deal with Hilda plus Autocrator, that's just too much to get through. And Lucretia is just, I banned Wetham already. Next ban is usually just Lucretia, the flex DPS pick. And then I pick my own Lucretia as a, I'm trying to have a solution to Autocrator here, and it's just, generally a strong unit. Here, IBC and Die Hard gets banned. IBC probably because, Lucretia already benefits from IBC. It's a magic DPS that can do decent damage or even straight up kill most Autocrators. Die Hard, a stun unit and has very good mobility on this map because he's not messed up by terrain. And he goes for IBC, which can support his Autocrator and like any one other unit here. So I banned TJS and Kruger because I'm already playing without a healer. I don't want a 5 movement Kruger just getting in the center of my map and zoning me. TJS is just, I'm not sure if this TJS ban is justified in hindsight because I mean, it benefits from IBC, but I think overall I just wanted to remove things that can kill my Wetham. But in that case, I should have banned Cherry maybe. Not sure. It's just I guess I didn't want to deal with the teleport here. So after that, I picked my Elwyn. So even though he has an off tank, so just getting more single target strikers that come with self-sustain. So at this point, he could still pick Rosen, but based on my experience from across different games, I find that Wetham actually has a decent time killing the Autocrator. He's not as tanky as you think. So even with Rosen, it's actually possible to kill this one-shot Autocrator with Wetham. But yeah, anyways, here he removes 2 more assassins, Cherry and Werner. He picks Leonhardt, so man of conviction. He plays a weird unit, and he's gonna pick the weird unit. So respect to that. Ban Rosen and Ares. Rosen because, you know, it's 3 Empire units. It's too disrespectful to give the Rosen here at this point. And Ares is just another long range unit that can AoE or single target, can kill Elwyn. So I get that out of the way. I pick my own Ares. So there's a lot of like single target long range units here, basically. So this Autocrator is gonna get overwhelmed at some point. And here he bans my Autocrator in Sigma, so another long range unit and my off tank and a disruptor, I guess. And he picks Himiko, which is, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I should ban Himiko instead of Digest, because it's very good against single target, and you know, you need 2 attacks to kill it. And then Seal is quite annoying as well against my team. Then yeah, I remove Diehard and Epsilon. Epsilon is a janitor, Diehard has more threat range compared to Cherry. Then I've rounded up with a Epsilon of my own. And he picks Sissy White as healer, again, possibly a sub-tank if the Autocrator goes down instead of the Cherry. Maybe he just wants a heal against Wedam as well, so that the Despair doesn't mess things up here. Although none of these units are particularly affected by Despair. Overall, my team has pretty strong late game overall and decent threat range from the Flyers. So heading right into the game, there's nothing much to note about my team. It's usual single target stuff. Epsilon is carrying the accelerated 8 because I pretty much only bring accelerated 8 with Wedam in particular, because that extra 1 mobility might help him to open up the game. And there's mass attack from Lucretia in case for silence, for seal, that kind of thing. Double single target because I value the passive regen from the 3C. Wedam is bringing Gargoyles on this map, even though I want him to kill the tank. But because he has no Rosen, I feel like as long as I can get in range to plant my 3C near him and jump on top of him, he should die. And as you can see here, this Autocrator is wearing Apex boots. So HP is a bit low, defense is quite low compared to the usual Spirit Boots Autocrator. So I'm pretty convinced that even Gargoyles Wedam will have quite a decent time one-shotting this Autocrator. But Apex Boots Autocrator with IBC is really nasty because on danger zone, if you look at this, Apex Boots Autocrator with IBC can actually reach until this tile. And then if you count 7 tiles from here, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It almost reaches up halfway into my team. And it can also reach like these 2 tiles, which will cover until this side of the map. So it's pretty hard to move against this if you don't want to get hit by the AoE at all. So first thing what I do is I start spreading out. And yeah, before I forget, this Leonhardt has OLB. I'm pretty sure it's OLB. I don't think it's SSM equipped. So basically what this means is that I can't tell whether it's Balance Blade or Demon Slayer. Because, you know, I haven't fought a Leonhardt in a while, so I can't really guess just based on the stat distribution. Could be enchant difference. You never know. So yeah, that would be slightly important later on in the game. Yeah, IBC is carrying Unicorns, Mass Attack, CCY Inspire, usual stuff. So yeah, first thing I do is I just start spreading out. And then I give my Wedam the accelerated 8. Summons a Lancer, so kind of expecting the Autocrator to go down already at this point. He's just trying to get the summon out early so that he can run down the cooldown faster. Yeah, so Aaron just starts spreading here. As attack comes out, boost on Autocrator and Leonhardt. Wedam just splits below. So I want to get rid of the pressure on my backline. So I just go right in for the kill. If you look at it, this is just annoying. It's very hard to move up against this because none of Epsilon, Lucretia or Ares really wants to eat this chip because they're gonna take a lot of fixed damage. So I just go right in for the kill. Once you jump on top of Autocrator, you are not affected by his talent aura. So from these stats, it's a pretty comfortable kill, and I can move right on top of the terrain. Lancer hits my sword, doesn't really do much. Inspire gets rid of the Despair debuff. So with the Autocrator gone, I can start pushing my team up. IBC gets rid of the sword. S10 just chills at the back because I don't want to get in range of Himiko or Leonhard. And he's just here to Janitor. Kind of dance around my units a little bit. I moved my Ares here because I wanted to keep Elwyn, which has Priest, to prevent the Leonhard from moving up. But, you know, he teleported just right outside of my Elwyn's range. So at this point, there's a bunch of things I can do, right? Because the Leonhard is going to move first next turn. So I kind of want to split up because I don't know whether this is balance split or not. So in the end, what I decided to do was to Reign of Glory and show on top of the terrain here. So I did this because even if it's balance split, so even if he hits my Elwyn, I have immunity. So I mean, you can think of it as, okay, actually let's just go back for a little bit. So right here, right? So if I didn't burn my egg again, my Elwyn would only reach here. And if the Leonhard goes here and does his 3C, not 3C, his 2C, the one that prevents egg again, I'll be here, which is too far from the fight here. So if I get my egg again blocked for 3 turns, it's gonna take 2 turns before, an extra turn before I can reach the battlefield on this side. And you know, although I can protect, like my backline is gonna go untouched, but at that point I decided that I need Elwyn to be participating in the fight over here because it's taking him quite a bit of effort to kill my Wet Head off on the terrain. So that's why I use my egg again to get here. So after that, here he reveals that it is actually a Demon Slayer. Because, you know, he doesn't proc the small AOE from his jump. It's only 1 block with Demon Slayer. And then he kills the Puppet. So basically his Leonhard crippled 2 of my units. Because Ares now cannot act again for 3 turns. And Lucretia lost her Puppet. So her mobility is very limited now. But anyways, my Wet Ham just goes in and kills the summon again. And yeah, I made a bit of a mistake, I think, looking back at it. I'm not sure why I moved further up, because this allowed the IBC to actually just kill my Wet Ham off outside of my Elwyn's range. So, as you can see here, it's outside of my range. So what I should have done was, I should have just ran backwards, nearer to my Elwyn. So even if he 3Cs the 2 units here, Elwyn has immunity and he'll just go right in and kill the IBC after that. So, not sure why I ran upwards. This is not even a terrain, this is still a grassland, even though it looks like there's a fucking mountain here. Then, yeah, that's a mistake, I think. Because if I move back, he has to either hit it with Himiko, or he has to run away on the IBC first if he doesn't want my Elwyn to kill it. Because CC White doesn't have the Lancer summon yet, it's still on cooldown for 1 turn. So, yeah, definitely a misplay, minor one from here. I lose my Wet Ham, and my Elwyn can't really do much. And because my Elwyn can't really do much, I decided to just take care of the Leonhard that's in my base now. Okay, it's not OLB, so I'm not sure what this is. I guess it's like Full Moon Demon Slayer or something like that. Nah, I don't know, I can't tell. It's not OLB. I don't think it's SSM. But the attack does look a little bit on the lower end and the defense on the higher end, so I don't know. I don't know what it is. Yeah, Ares just goes in to kill because I don't want to lose my Pepsi shield, and my Ares is kind of useless anyway. Here I tried to do a normal attack on my Elwyn, but I'm on terrain, I don't take too much. And I just heal up to full and send him back home. Epsilon just slowly dances around, tries to avoid getting hit by the Himiko. And his cooldown is now up and he summons another Lancer. So I decide that I don't want to have anything to do with this fight anymore and I try to retreat. It does a normal attack and still doesn't kill my Elwyn, but he takes my attack buff. So that's mildly annoying. So I start pushing my Pepsi up. So at this point, I mean, he could just AOE my Pepsi, but his talent is still off cooldown. So if he commits to it, then I can kill it. And if he doesn't, then I don't know. I can do something with my Elwyn probably, even though he still has the Lancer here. Lucretia is refusing to proc Breeze, so she's still very far away after her puppet dies. But anyways, he does go for the pop on my shield, trying to roll a good mobility down on my Epsilon. Doesn't take my faction buff, doesn't take my attack buff, and mobility is only -1, so that's a bit sad. But here I misplay and I tried to go for the IBC kill, which I had no real reason to do. I mean, you look at this. I have 4 units here. If I just take care of the Hibiko, which I'm pretty sure is a guaranteed kill with 4 stacks with attack buff and with faction buff active. Like, he has no defense buff. I have Twilight. Should be pretty guaranteed. So I had no real reason to try an IBC because IBC only has 1 attack skill. And you know, 1 attack skill, I don't think it can take care of all 4 of my units at the end of the day. And I go for the wrong attack or the wrong target and I get punished as his Tenure Rope dispels my faction buff so that Epsilon doesn't attack. So if you guys didn't know about this yet, basically if Epsilon loses his faction buff while he initiates a ranged attack, Epsilon himself stops attacking and only the zombies attack. So this is a weird interaction. Like, normally you think it's the other way, right? Because Epsilon uses a skill, so the skill should go off and the troops don't attack. But, you know, the way Langrisser is coded, it happens that only the troops attack. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a weird one. But anyway, the game is very scuffed now. As my Epsilon has no buff, it's just sitting on the terrain. Elwyn loses 1 life here. And it's probably the most disappointing development in this game. Elwyn's Sword Soul cannot kill a Lancer summon that is on Forest. I mean, I lost my attack buff, but still, it's a Sword Soul. So, I don't know. It is a 1.8 times attack. So, I mean, you could argue that I could have hit from here to get the group charge bonus since I already lost my revive anyway, but you know, it's a Sword Soul on a summon. I didn't really expect it to fail. So at this point it was pretty despair mode already. Like, everything is going wrong. Lucretia is too far, Ares again is still inactive. Epsilon has no faction buff, it's probably gonna die. Elwyn has no skill now. Able to kill a Lancer summon, everything's just going to shit. IBC recasts her attack formation, tries to kill Epsilon, and well, I found this kind of surprising that, you know, she has attack buff 1.4k in, say, 4? 5? I think it's 5 stars IBC, and it failed to kill an Epsilon that had 0 buffs. That was, I mean, it's on terrain, but he had 0 buffs. So I guess he had no troops at all, but this was pretty surprising. I have 387 MDef. I don't see why that would fail, but I guess terrain OP. So a little bit of a saving grace, but my Epsilon is crippled as hell now. And the next turn, he clocked the Himiko 3C, so he gets another one, and he kills off my Epsilon. So here I panic mode. I was actually trying to try to hit the summon, but I forgot that I sword sold off and passive blocked him. So this thing is actually not guarding anymore. And yeah, that was a misplay, but in a sense, there wasn't much else I could have done. So after this, the CCY inspires and he moves the Lancer, which is a misplay because this was the play I should have made instead of whatever my Elwin did here. So from this position, after the Himiko moved, so what I can do here is I 3C, I kill the IBC that is not guarded right now, and I kill the Lancer Summon with my 3C AOE. So that's what I should have done from the start. But luckily he didn't see that play, because what he could have done here was actually he moved the Lancer up to guard the IBC, and then he inspires to dispel the passive block. Because if the Lancer guards IBC, well, obviously Ares can't attack, and Ares can't attack into Himiko because Himiko's EMB is just gonna straight up kill Ares at this HP. So it's not like I can attack this thing either. But I guess, you know, this is pretty late in the game. It's turn 6 only, but a lot has happened this game, and I think both players were pretty low on timer at this point. So he failed to make that read, and he decided that protecting the Himiko is more important, which is technically correct, but it allows me to make this play. So hitting into an IBC is pretty scary. IBC's pain hurts for no reason. And yeah, but I get the kill, I survive because I have terrain, and I kill the Lancer Summon. Meanwhile, Lucretia is still trying her best to reach the battlefield. Turn 6. Who drops a seal, tries to steal the rest of my buffs, I guess. But Elwin, I have my Reign of Glory back. I try to hit him. But even with my attack buff and him not being full health, I actually still fail to make the kill. So Elwin has been very disappointing in this game, unfortunately. 600 defense. I mean, I have attack buff and I have damage down. Yeah, I guess it's the damage dealt down, which is more significant than having a attack minus 20%. Damage is usually worth a bit more. Doesn't kill. Very disappointing. He's able to heal it up back up to a decent HP and summon the third Lancer of a game. And Ares has no choice but to kill this summon. Mass attack. Lucretia is finally ready to fight. Kill this summon. Here he makes the correct play of just killing the Ares, because if he can somehow tank this hit, he has Egg again, and everything's gonna go to shit after that, because Egg again with the 30% attack buff, I think it will be able to kill Lucretia at melee on top of the terrain. And Elwin, I don't think Elwin can do enough damage to kill a Phalanx CC White in the late game, even if I manage to kill the Himiko later. So thankfully, Lucretia launching her first attack, well, not the first attack because she technically hit the Leonhard once, but her first actual contribution. And she manages to kill the Himiko, and that will seal the game. So quite a bit of misplay here and there, but overall pretty exciting and close game against a not very common AOE matchup. You know, usually AOE nowadays is Wetham, Helena, Kruger, that sort of thing. So Leonhard is pretty uncommon. Apex Boot, Autocrator is pretty uncommon as well. So, you know, pretty nice game overall. So yeah, that's basically it for this one, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.